keeping kids out of jail. Oklahoma has one of the highest incarceration rates in the nation. That means children of inmates are often left without parents and, even more importantly, guidance. And a small school on the northeast side trying to change that. KOCO's Ariel Reshef explains.
Okay, you say it.
It's spelling class at Little Light Christian School.
Give me an example.
But the lesson is far more than ABCs. It's proof for these children someone cares about their future. Their parents in jail, their chances of the same fate staggering.
We know where the next generation of inmates are coming from, and they're the children. Many of them are the children of inmates that are incarcerated today.
70% of children who have parents who are incarcerated end up in jail themselves by the age of 25. This school is attempting to break that cycle, and they say education is the best way to do that.
For all of us, the goal should be to leave the next generation of our citizens better than what we found it. And so the message here is prevention.
Prevention through core studies combined with subjects that serve the soul.
The children get art once a week, they have music, they do gardening, they take field trips. We are all about educating the whole child.
It's a very holistic approach to education, both intellectually, but also educating the heart.
Only 7 students, 1 teacher for 2 or 3 kids. Personal attention often missing at home.
We're just blessed to get to love them every day and to help them with their education.
Education keeping the next generation of Oklahomans on the path to success.
We are breaking the cycle of incarceration in Oklahoma for these children.
It was Ariel Reshef reporting. And best of all students attend Little Light for free. The school funded entirely by community donations. And administrators tell us they hope to raise enough money to set up satellite schools in hopes of reaching more kids across the metro. Great to see.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Robin Curry, founder of Little Light Ministries. Robin, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start right there. Tell us a little bit about Little Light Ministries.
Little Light Ministries began in 2009 ministering to women in prison. And we began, though, with the view of starting a school that specifically targeted children of women in prison. And in 2012, we opened the school, Little Light Christian School.
Talk to us a little bit about that experience of working with incarcerated women. What has that been like?
That was one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life, actually. It's easy to marginalize a group of people before you know them, and when I actually went into the prison and met women who actually were violent offenders who had long sentences, and you began to get to know them, you hear their stories and see their tears and learn their names, then you get to be friends with them and you understand that these are women who are people, but they made bad choices, but they still love their children and they still care for them, they pray for them, and they're people that we need to care for as well.
Talking about these women that you've worked with throughout the years, would you say there's a general sense of certain types of crimes that they're incarcerated for that you've experienced that you're working with?
Yes, most women are incarcerated in Oklahoma for low-level non-violent crimes. Now, the women that I personally worked with, that really wasn't the case, but for 80% of the women in prison in Oklahoma, I think actually the percentage is even higher. They're in jail for low-level non-violent crimes that have to do with property crimes, which most of them stem from drug abuse.
So let's talk from a macro sense. Why is that? Why does Oklahoma incarcerate so many women in our state? What do you think?
We incarcerate women for things that other states do not, and some of our sentencing laws have an effect on how many women actually end up going to prison. And so if we would do things like differentiate between the quantities of drugs that a woman possesses at the time she is sentenced, then that would make a difference, because some women are going to jail for a long time for a very small quantity of drugs in her possession.
So let's talk about the effect as you're working with these women and their children. Let's start with the mothers first. How does the incarceration affect those mothers?
Well, the mothers suffer incredibly when they're separated from their children, but we can't even begin to imagine how the family suffers, because most of these women, 80% of the women in prison do have children, and the average is has 2 children, but so some of them have a lot, some of them have fewer. But at the time this mom goes to prison, we're effectually shattering a family because most of them are the major caregiver to the children.
So you're helping with the family. Let's talk about the school some more and the children that are in the school. Help us to understand what that experience is like and how the children are doing in the school.
Our children are phenomenal. They have made such great strides. Every one of our children in our school comes from a single parent family, and so this presents challenges, but the children, when they experience a trauma when they lose this parent to incarceration, and we do accept children whose fathers have been incarcerated as well, and these children begin to manifest signs of ADHD, they have anxiety, depression, and they begin to act out a lot. They start having behavioral issues, and this puts them at risk in a school setting. A traditional school, they just get in trouble all the time. They're getting suspended. Their parent, their sole caregiver, whoever's caring for them, is spending all of their time, when they're also trying to work and provide for them, having to run up to the school because of their behavior issues and other problems they're having.
So we've done some work on this show before looking at the differences from traditional schools and other schools and some of the laws the state of Oklahoma has now to create opportunities for children. What makes the teacher special at the school, or what needs are there that you mentioned traditional public school maybe not be able to address? Help us understand that a little bit more.
We weave therapy into our curriculum. We have a licensed therapy dog who comes on site to our school. The children do art and music. They do musical movement. Just as I was leaving campus today, we had a coping skills class going on, and another center was creative play. But all of these things help these children detox, if you will, from the traumatic experiences that they've had, and it also gives them a way to express themselves that helps them to heal.
That's fantastic. Robin, thank you so much for all that you do, and good luck with the school moving forward.
Thank you very much.
If you would like to learn more about Little Light Ministries and how you can get involved, we've linked to it on our Facebook page. You can find it there on Facebook. Just search for The Middle Ground TV. And we would like to hear from you. Send us